The miraculous medal was originally called the Medal of the Immaculate Conception, but because of the numerous accounts of miracles by those who wore it, people began to call it the Miraculous Medal. The origin of this medal is a story of St. Catherine Laboure, a sister from the Daughters of Charity congregation founded by St. Vincent de Paul and St. Louis de Merlac. Catherine Laboure had two apparitions of the Blessed Virgin. The first apparition was in the eve of the feast of St. Vincent de Paul. Being called in her sleep by a child, she went to the chapel, which was completely lit. It looked as if there was a midnight mass. While she was kneeling down at the communion rail, she witnessed Blessed Mother sitting on the chair of the director gloriously. Catherine went towards the mother and knelt before her, resting her folded hands on our mother's lap. Then Blessed Virgin embraced her and told her that she had to carry out a mission which she was going to assign her.
The second apparition took place on 27th of November 1830 while she was making her evening meditation. She sensed Blessed Virgin standing near to St. Joseph's picture. Then she saw Blessed Mother with a golden globe in her palm. Suddenly Mary's hands were resplendent and flashed in a brilliant cascade of light. The flood of glory was so bright that the globe on which Mary stood was out of sight. Then the globe vanished, and Blessed Mother's arms were swept wide and down, and an oval frame of words surrounded her hand. O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to you. Blessed Mother instructed Catherine that this medal be struck and its devotion be spread everywhere, especially in France. It took Catherine 2 years to convince her spiritual director, Father Alardel. Then he addressed it to the Archbishop of Paris. As a result of it, 20,000 medals were printed and distributed to all on 20th of June 1832. That's the story behind this great miraculous medal.
The Vincentian family comprises organizations inspired by the life and work of St. Vincent de Paul. Since 1617, the extended Vincentian family has grown, which includes several hundred diverse groups of women and men, laity and religious, Catholics and non-Catholics. In 1617, an association of mostly women was formed by St. Vincent. They played an active role against all forms of poverty and the empowerment of women. There are now 250,000 volunteers in 50 countries. The congregation of the mission was founded by St. Vincent himself in 1625, which comprises both priests and brothers. They are called Vincentians or Lazarists. The Daughters of Charity was also founded by St. Vincent together with St. Louis de Merlac in 1633. This company of sisters commit themselves to God in order to serve Christ, the person of the poor. Today, there are more than 13,000 Daughters of Charity living and working in more than 96 countries throughout the world.
In 1833, Blessed Frederick Ozanam, who was a French literary scholar, lawyer, journalist, and equal rights advocate, formed a group of Christian laypersons who contribute their time and effort to work on behalf of social justice and mitigate the suffering needs of their neighbor. In 1847, an international youth association committed to the young people and the church was formed, known as Vincentian Marian Youth. The Miraculous Medal Association originated in 1909 as a result of Mary's 1830th apparition to St. Catherine Laboure, Paris. a collaborative volunteer network of lay Vincentian groups that promote, facilitate, and support the values of Saint Vincent and Saint Louis de Maria was formed in 1999. It is called the Vincentian Lay Missionaries.
Father Opeka, CM, is a missionary of the Congregation of the Mission who has lived and ministered in Madagascar for more than 50 years. He was born in Argentina to Slovenian parents. On 5 different occasions, Father Opeka has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Committed to those persons who are most poor, Father built Akamasova, one of the first villages built by Opeka on the hills above Madagascar for the poor. This extraordinary place, which is dedicated to the poor and those left behind, now number some 25,000 residents. Pope Francis visited in September 2019 during his apostolic journey to Mozambique, Madagascar and Mauritius. On his visit to Akamasova, Pope remarked that Father Petro has given an outstanding contribution to social and human development in Madagascar, helping it to achieve the 2030 UN Goals for Sustainable Development. Father Opeka is a living beacon of hope and faith in the fight against poverty and an inspiration to eradicate marginalization and social injustice, and he is a living saint and a champion of the poor. Following the missionary spirit of Father Petro Opeka, we, the members of the Congregation of the Mission of the Southern Indian Province, have been constructing houses for the poor for the past 10 years in our areas of ministry.
April 1625 marked the official establishment of the congregation. It was Pope Urban VIII, through the bull Salvatoris Nostri, recognized the institute as a congregation of the mission on 12th January 1633. The congregation of the mission is a society of apostolic life, governed by the decrees of the General Assembly, which is held every 6 years, and also governed by the Superior General and his 4 councillors who reside in Rome as a General Curia. At present, the Reverend Father Thomas Maurick is the Superior General of the congregation.
The purpose of the Congregation of the Mission is to follow Christ, the evangelizer of the poor. This purpose is achieved when, faithful to Saint Vincent, the members individually and collectively make every effort to put on the Spirit of Christ Himself in order to acquire a holiness appropriate to their vocation. Work at evangelizing the poor, especially the more abandoned, help the clergy and laity in their formation and lead them to a fuller participation in the evangelization of the poor.
Vincent emphasized the formation of the clergy, paying utmost attention and care by working in seminaries, giving retreats, conducting Tuesday conferences, and sending for ministries in diocesan seminaries. As a result of it emerged the fruitful popular mission. The primary work of the congregation is popular mission and lay formation. At the beginning of the 3rd millennium, the congregation, composed of 37 provinces and 5 vice provinces with 26 bishops. Today it has 3,106 members living in 507 local communities in 95 countries on 5 continents.
We, the members of the Congregation of the Mission, joyously celebrate the centenary of the arrival of the 4 Vincentian priests from Spain. It was their missionary spirit which gave birth to CM in India. They came from the Madrid province to Cuttack Bhubaneswar Berhampur on the 10th January 1922 for rendering the missionary service to India. The Spaniard missionaries began their apostolate in the central and southern part of coastal Orissa. At that time, the pastoral administration of the area was entrusted to the missionaries of St. Francis de Sales. As the enthusiastic Vincentian missionaries engaged themselves in active evangelization, they were joined by more conferers from Spain. The conferers took over parishes and eventually the entire area was known as the Cuttack Mission. In 1925, the Cuttack Mission was declared a vice province of Madrid and Father Jose Maria Fernandez CM was appointed the first vice provincial of India, establishing Berhampur as provincial house. In 1970, it was elevated as a province, with Father Thomas Urdangarin as its provincial. The reign of leadership was then passed on to Indians in 1973. The congregation of the mission in India was divided in 25th November 1997 into Northern Indian Province and Southern Indian Province. Both the provinces grew independently fruitful. The Northern Indian Province was again divided into Northeast region in 2019.
The Southern Indian province of the Congregation of the Mission concentrates its mission in the following states in India: Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and extending her missionary service outside India like Tanzania, Malawi, Congo, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Canada, England, Italy, Spain, and Germany. The priests of this province still execute the service and tradition that the founder instructed. Today, Southern Indian province is blessed with one bishop and 167 priests in 16 canonical houses that consist of 53 communities. It is actively involved in social work, education ministry, free hostels, and education for the poor, formation of the clergy, popular mission, and parish ministry.
We are so glad. On one side, we celebrate the 100 years of the Vincentian presence in India. On the other hand, we, the members of Southern Indian Province of the Congregation of the Mission, celebrate the Silver Jubilee of our province. We thank the Almighty for making us His instruments to work for the salvation of the souls and to lead them in the betterment of lives.